So yesterday I put out a video um, about my opinion about us being the remnant. And there's a lot of implications that go with that. But the first thing that is on my mind to discuss is, where do we hear about the remnant? We hear about it in the Bible. We call the Bible God's word. Um, and a lot of us lean on that word. A lot of people are feeling like maybe the Bible is a book about us as indigenous Americans. It surely lines up to a lot of our lives. Um, but one thing I want to say is this. My son is laughing. The one thing I want to say is this, that first, I do have a Master of Divinity degree. I did go to seminary. I did finish it. Can I show you my degree? It's on the wall, I think. But I have a Master of Divinity degree. And one thing that we learned is that a lot of what is in the Bible present day that we have right now um, is unsure where it came from. For example, the writer Paul in the Bible. Uh, a lot of society attributes most of the New Testament to Paul. But in seminary, we learn that we don't know who wrote all those books. We also learned that, there were certain people back then when those things were written, where they would add somebody's name who was already known so that people would listen to what this person will abide by what this person is writing. So one thing that we have to be careful about with attributing the Bible to our lives is understanding and understanding that a lot of the Bible was written by people that we do not know, and people like Paul's name was added to a lot of those books so that people could abide by what was written because Paul was seen as an authoritative figure back then. I say that because there are a lot of things in the Bible that are just not right. But there are also a lot of things in the Bible that are true. It is up to us as spiritual beings that as we read this book, and if you decide to apply it to your life, you have to let the Spirit of God lead you to what to believe and what not. It's like, that saying, chew the meat and spit out the bones. That's kind of like what you have to do with the Bible. Another thing that I want to highlight is that the Bible was written over a period of time, and for 450 years, or maybe a little above that, what was written in the Bible was kept by the Catholic Church. And so they kept that word. They kept what was actually written for over 450 years. And so there are a lot of things that were changed after they started just divvying it out to the world. Like, here, take this, take that. They just started divvying out their word. Now, in order to get people to follow what you want them to follow, you have to put some truth in the word. And so, again, I say there are a lot of truths in that Bible, but there are also a lot of untruths in that Bible. And so, one of the major, and if not the most major, untruth that is in the Bible is attributing God as being a man. It gives a false sense of superiority to men. The Bible also says that both men and women were made in the image of God. So if me as a woman, if I am made in the image of God, just like any man is made in the image of God, where is her uh, godly representation in the Bible? And so that is one thing that's one lie, and I'm just going to call it what it is. That's one lie that is in the Bible, us attributing God to Him as opposed to just God or it, or, you know, we're all made in the image of this God, male, masculine, and feminine. So that means that God has both masculine and feminine properties, and created all things with both masculine and feminine properties. Now, a major part of what we have going on in this world, a lot of this stuff that's happening is happening because of the lie that God is a man. It gives men a false sense of superiority over everyone else. And when you let men have whatever they want, we see what's happening in this world. And so, you know, um, I do believe that we are the remnant that's in that Bible. I do believe that. I do believe that as Black Americans, Indigenous Americans, we were here on this land for thousands of years. I even believe that we are living on the actual Holy Land. I really do believe that. But that's something that I'll talk about later. But I do believe that we are living on the Holy Lands. If you look at, for example, the story about Noah and the gopher wood, and how, God instructed Noah to build an ark using gopher wood. Well, gopher wood is only found in the state of Florida and, some small parts of Georgia, but gopher wood is only found in these here United States. Well, I'm not even going to use the term United States because that's a whole different entity. But in these here Americas, gopher wood is only grown in one area in the whole planet, and that is in Florida. It grows naturally there, in small parts of Georgia, because Georgia is right above Florida. And so those are some of the truths that we really have to go back in and start, reinterpreting what this Bible really is and what it's saying to us. And we have to start allowing the Spirit to lead us. We cannot count on pastors to tell us the truth. Again, I am a seminarian, and so I have been in class with these people. I have studied with them. I have heard stories, and so you cannot trust your relationship with the Most High, with the Great Spirit, based off of what one person on a stage is telling you. You cannot do that. We have to know the word for ourselves and rightly divide it. But I just wanted to come out and say that part, because I do believe that we are the remnant that Bible is talking about. I do believe that that part is true. There are other things about that Bible that I believe that, there are parts of the Bible that are more instruction on how to treat us as Black Indigenous Americans in this country. For instance, Deuteronomy 28. I don't see that as a curse. I see that as it was framed as a curse, in my opinion. It was framed as a curse, but it is a directive. It is something, it's a blueprint. It's not a curse that God was like, I'm going to curse all of y'all. Because if you if you um, if you pair the Bible with the history books, Deuteronomy 28 is not a curse. It is a blueprint that they used on how to enslave us. I'll say more on that later on, but just understand that we are the remnant. In my belief, it is my belief that we are the remnant. I understand that with saying that we are the remnant, that leads people to the Bible. And so it is my duty to come here and say, because I'm saying that we are the remnant, and because really the only the holy book that we go to that talks about that remnant is the Bible. So now it is my duty to say that you have to allow the Spirit to lead you on how to interpret what is being said, because a lot of stuff that we learn is designed to keep us in a submissive form under a certain group of people, and they're using our word, our lives, that were written about us. They're using that little bit of truth, and they've added in a lot of untruths. And so it's important to study the Bible and ask God, ask the Spirit to lead and guide you as you read this book. Ask the Spirit to lead and guide you as, into what the Spirit wants you to interpret. Because there's a lot of really great things in the Bible, but there are a lot of untruths, and it's designed to keep us enslaved. And so I just wanted to come out and say that, you have, at this point, you have to allow the Spirit, the Most High, to lead and guide you on how to interpret what you're reading in that book. God bless.